Hello, Dr. Smita Sakpate, your own consultant cosmetic dermatologist practicing since last 24 years. And I am on a mission. Mission Beauty Sundarmi Khodaras. In next 3 years, I would like to make 1 lakh women beautiful. So among this series of interviews with the eminent dermatologists from all over the country, today here we have the lady with the most gorgeous, long, silky hair talking to you about hair care. Here we present Dr. Mansa. Dr. Mansa has completed her MBBS in Pondicherry. And from then she got married, she came to Sholapur. And here in Ashwini, she has finished her diploma CPS degree. And she worked within the government hospital for 1 year with a varied experience of seeing all varieties of cases. And now, since last month, she is practicing in a private clinic, the cosmetic dermatology. And definitely, she has the upper hand when it comes to hair care because she herself carries the most gorgeous silky hair. That's why we chose her to talk on hair care series. I'm sure all of you women must be really excited to know what are the secrets Dr. Mansa is going to share. So let's welcome Dr. Mansa. Welcome Dr. Mansa on Mission Beauty platform.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for the introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Mansa Bolli, working as a dermatocosmetologist in Sholapur. Today, I'm going to discuss about various aspects about hair and hair care. What kind of shampoo, conditioner, and oiling hair, and everything we'll discuss about it.
Wonderful. We want to know, Dr. Mansa, are there different types of hair?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, on scalp, if we see, there are two types. Morphologically, there are two types of hair. That is terminal and villous hair. Terminal hair, they are pigmented. They're pigmented, modulated, and they're often lengthy and have larger diameter. Their hair bulb are presented in subcutaneous and deep dermis. Whereas villous hair, they are very small and have very small length and diameter. It lacks medulla and pigmentation, and it is present in upper dermis. In androgenic alopecia, if we see, there is miniaturization of this terminal hair into the villous hair. And if we see various patterns of hair, there are 4 types of hair, that is straight, wavy, curly, and coily hair. In straight hair, the hair, there are some differences between straight and curly hair. Straight hair, if we see the hair follicle, it is very round. And the disulfide bonds, they are evenly placed around the cuticle. Sorry. Whereas in curly hair, the hair follicle is oval and flattened. So it and the follicular angle to the dermis or subcutaneous tissue, it is curved. So the hair will be curlier when it grows. And if we see another differences, the cuticles along the straight hair they're completely flattened, and it gives the smooth and shiny look of the hair. And if we see the curly hair, the cuticles are not as flat as in straight hair. And on scalp sebum, that is natural oils are produced. In straight hair, these naturals are spread evenly and very easily. They are spread evenly, thoroughly all over the hair, and it gives a fine and shiny look. Whereas in curly hair, this sebum and natural oils are not spread evenly. So it gives a dull and rough look in curly hair. That's all, ma'am.
That was nice. So, different types of hair. Did you know, people, that there is a vellus hair, there's a terminal hair? Yes, definitely. You must have seen curly hair and straight hair. And very important information Dr. Mansa told. See, the curly hairs are not as soft as the straight hair. No wonder straightening procedure is really into vogue and fashion because people want to touch the hair and feel it really soft and nice. So that was the explanation, which was in curly hair. Your cuticle is not so rightly placed, and that's how it's more rough. And the sebum also is unequivalently spread. Yes. Yes, Dr. Mansa. We would like to know your secret. You have real lovely, gorgeous hair. Tell us, how do you take care of your hair?
Here I give some hair care tips. You should oil your hair half an hour to 1 hour before your hair wash. It will protect the hair from shampoo detergents, and it also coats a layer along the length of the hair shaft, and it protects from the hair damage. And if you apply like little drops or a pump of oil after wash, it will detangle the hair and it will reduce the hair breakage and damage. So hair oil has importance, especially the coconut oil. And during hair wash, use only lukewarm or cold water. Do not use hot water. If we use hot water, it removes all the natural oils and it results in dry and frizzy hair. And how often we should wash our hair? Once to thrice a week is enough. There is no need to wash your hair every day. If we wash every day, it will remove all the natural oils and it will give more damage and dryness to the hair. And after every wash, you have to apply conditioner. Conditioner has to be applied not to the scalp, away from the scalp, 2 inches away from the scalp, to the middle and the lower end of the hair. So it will protect from whatever dryness and frizziness happen with the shampoo detergents. It will there is negatively charging has appeared with shampoo, so it will give a positive charge to the hair, and it will flatten the cuticles and seal the gaps which could expose the cortex to the environment. So you have to use conditioner after every wash.
As Dr. Manta suggested some beautiful hair care tips. The first one was the gold standard coconut oil is what we use in India, which our grandmothers, great grandmothers have used. So she has suggested use hair oiling at least half an hour to 1 hour prior rather than overnight to a gold hair massage, because it's going to open the vascular channels of your scalp. So once the blood supply improves, obviously your hair is going to retain. The second tip Dr. Mansa told was about shampooing. It needs to be done once to thrice a week. And the third thing she told was shampoo, apply the conditioner, which will positively charge your hair. And don't apply the conditioner to that. Yes, in regards to water, say a big notch of hot water, use warm water or normal temperature, cool water, so that your hair will retain whatever oil is being produced. Am I right, Dr. Mansa? These are the wonderful tips you shared.
Yes,
yes. Move on to the next question, Dr. Mansa. Can you just highlight now? Once we go to the counter, over the counter, there are so many, websites, there are so many huge departmental stores. And as a mid-aged lady, I often get confused whenever I go to the shampoo counter. I just don't understand what should I pick. So can you give us some real secrets and the tips how to choose a shampoo?
Shampoo, actually, it is formulated to cleanse the hair, to get out the dirt and greasiness from the scalp and hair. Basically, it contains detergents, foaming agents, sometimes conditioners, and pH adjusters and sequestering agents. Detergents, there are 3 detergents are present, that is anionics, amphoterics, and non-anionics. In shampoos, anionics, there are they deeply cleanse the, it is mostly see lauryl sulfate, laureth sulfate. They deeply cleanse the hair and give a dry look. And whereas the amphoterics, non-anionics, they are mild cleansers and they leave hair manageable. Amphoterics like glycinates, propionates, betaines, and non-ionics like non-oxynals and poloxamers. Mostly shampoos, detergents, there are these both 2 or 3 combinations will be seen. Only sulfate, lauryl sulfate, we should not choose. There should be combination of 2 to 3 groups of these detergents. And if there are any conditioners within the shampoo, there is no need to apply after a wash. After hair wash, you don't need to apply conditioner. You can only use the shampoo with conditioner. And the pH adjusters, that is, which are lactic acid and citric acid, detergents give alkalinity to the hair. So this should be there, like lactic acid and citric acid, which again retains the pH acidic to the acidity. And the sequestering agents, these agents, magnesium and calcium ion in hardwood, and these also should be there. And the thickness and opacifiers, they are just for aesthetic value. They are just for look. And preservatives, less preservatives is better. It prevents a bacterial growth in shampoo. That's all.
So Dr. Mansa said that shampoo has got various ingredients, even if it is a small 2 rupee sachet. What are the things you should check that it should not be there? Check if it has got sodium lauryl sulfate. 1, so don't buy that shampoo. Second one, if it has got say no to that shampoo. Third, in small shampoo sachet, you will have 8 to 10 ingredients. So there should not be sodium lauryl sulfate. There should not be many preservatives. You can choose a shampoo which has got a citric acid. And definitely, first, primarily, you need to know whether your hair is oily, whether it is dry, whether it is not. How do you get to know about that? See, when you shampoo your hair, on the next day, if you put a tissue on your scalp, if it is sticky and oily, then your scalp is oily. If it is having some dry flakes on the second day, then it is dry. And otherwise, none of these are there. No. So whenever you choose a shampoo on the counter of many shampoos, definitely check, is the shampoo meant for oily hair, for normal hair, for damaged hair, for color hair? In this way, you can select your shampoo and have the best optimum shampoo. But whatever said and done, definitely, if you reach a cosmetic dermatologist, they will prescribe you the best possible shampoo for your hair, because these are the medicated ones, but these are the studied shampoos. So if you could select that, definitely, I think so, it will have a long hair day for you. Do you agree with me, Mansa?
Yes, ma'am.
Now let's move on to the next question about conditioner. What is a conditioner? How should we use it? How often should we use it? How long should I keep it, doctor? So many questions my ladies have. So can you highlight on these particular points, Dr. Mansa?
Yes. When should a conditioner should be used? It after cleansing. After a hair wash, not too much wet hair. It should be applied on a damp hair, little bit less wet hair, and during the hair wash, these cuticles get lifted up and give the negative charge that repel each other, gives hair rough and dull and uncombable. So conditioners are applied to flatten these cuticles, and as I explained, it also prevents the exposure of cortex to the environment. What are the conditioning agents we have to see? Like mineral oils, vegetable oils, esters, humectants, glycerin, propylene glycol, silicones like dimethicone, simethicone, and other natural products like wheat germ oil, bees honey, collagen. These conditioners give good shine and slip, and detangles the hair also, and give combing will be easy with the conditioner, and also retains the moisture inside the hair. Actually, sebum is a natural conditioner we have in hair. An ideal conditioner should match the natural properties of the sebum. Sebum contains unsaturated fatty acids, squalene, cholesterol, and triglycerides. If in dry hair, if sebum is present only over the scalp, 1.5 inch over the scalp, And if we comb properly, so it will this sebum will distribute evenly all over the hair, thoroughly to the hair. And there are commercially so many types of conditioners are seen. That is instant conditioner, which should be applied after wash for only 2 to 5 minutes, and then it should be rinsed off. And leave-on conditioner, especially it is used in curly hairs, applied on washed hair and also dried hair, which will remain until the next shampoo. It smoothens out the hair and protects from weathering. And leave-in conditioner, these also are used in curly types of hair prior to any styling process, also chemical process like coloring. And another one is deep conditioners. They are applied like we go to salons for conditioning the hair. These are the deep conditioner they use. They leave for 20 to 30 minutes with a steamer and then rinsed off. But deep conditioner should not be used, should be used once in a while, not regularly. That's all.
Yes. So that was wonderful. So we have different kinds of conditioner: instant one, short one, deep conditioner. So whenever we visit to go get a hair spa done, so definitely they make you sit for 20 minutes. They pamper your scalp. They apply the conditioner, keep it for 20 minutes, stay on, and then they wash it. So as we've all understood, conditioner is nothing but a positively charged molecule, which wherever there is derangement of the cuticle, so the cuticle pops up like this outside, so it settles it down and it makes the hair even and uniform. And once the hair is uniform, obviously it will not detangle. That's how the positively charged hair will not have tangles and combing becomes much easier. And the very beautiful point Dr. Manasa mentioned, your natural sebum, if you comb properly, that sebum itself will get onto your hair and that itself is going to conditioner your hair. So very simple tip, you keep combing your hair regularly and that's how this sebum will move on to your hair. So it's like your own nutrition produced in your body, which is given to your hair. So that was wonderful. Yes, Dr. Manasa, the most hot and favorite topic of us Indian women is all about hair oils. We've been listening with our grandmothers, our mothers, oil your hair, oil your hair. So how do you put a light as a cosmetic dermatologist on this hair oil?
As we have already said, the hair follicle has a sebaceous gland which produces sebum. It also has natural oils. And if we see out of all oils, coconut oil is the best oil, we can say. It is made up of medium chain fatty acids, that is mainly lauric acid, which is easily absorbed to the deep into the hair shaft. It not only coats the hair, it also enters into the hair shaft. Other oils like mineral oil and sunflower oil, they just coats the hair. So after a hair wash, before a hair wash, half an hour to 1 hour, you have to apply massage oil into the scalp and into the hair shafts to decrease the water absorption during shampooing, and also to decrease the side effects of the detergents to the hair. And it also naturally conditions the hair. And after a wash also, to the damp hair, you can actually use coconut oil as a serum, and you can get rid of those split ends and dryness and frizziness of the hair. And this can detangle the hair very easily also.
So coconut oil remains the gold standard before and after shampoo, as you said. So before shampooing, how is it going to help? Basically, it is going to prevent detergent. You require detergent in the shampoo to clean up all that sebum, the dirt which is collected in your scalp, and also the dead skin. To remove all these things, we require a detergent. And when you oil prior, what happens? The detergent doesn't have harmful effect or harmful effect on the hair. And as Dr. Manasa mentioned, we have coconut hair light also available as an over-the-counter product. So you can use that as a hair serum. And primarily, Don't forget to use it on the tips, because where you have a split ends, you need to really oil a little bit or conditioner a little bit so that you don't have the split ends. So people who have split ends, be sure apply a good conditioner to the tip of the hair. Not only that, you can use a light coconut hair oil as well. Yes. Mansa, can you highlight something about combing? How to comb, which comb to use, how to select, and how do we go about? How often can we comb our hair? Can you tell us something about that?
Combing or brushing your hair in a wrong way, it can leads to hair breakage and leads to hair fall also. So we should not comb randomly over the scalp over on entire mane. Hair should be divided into 2 to 3 sections, and it should be detangled with a wide teeth comb. We should start combing from mid length to end part of the hair, remove the knots, detangle it, and then we have to comb thoroughly from the scalp. And we should never comb wet hair. Wet hair is vulnerable because the cuticle are opened up, and it will break very easily. So after drying the hair only, we have to comb your hair. And on dry hair, if we comb, as I said, the sebum natural oils, it will spread and it will give the conditioning to the hair evenly.
Yes, Dr. Man. To comb our hair, we definitely relax our scalp. So can you put some light and secrets about combing? Which kind of comb should we use? How should we comb? How often should we comb? And what are the benefits of combing the hair? Can you tell us, Dr. Mansa?
Yes. Combing or brushing your hair, it should not be done in a wrong way. Like it will lead to hair breakage and hair fall. You should not run a comb randomly on an entire mane. You should divide the hair into 2 to 3 sections and detangle it properly with wide tooth comb. So you should start combing from mid to down part of the hair and remove the knots, detangle it, and you can thoroughly comb from your scalp then. And you can comb up to 100 times in a day. It will it will increase the blood circulation, blood supply to the hair. And you should never comb wet hair. Wet hair is vulnerable as the wet hair where the cuticles are opened up. It is very delicate and it easily breaks up. And combing helps, as we said earlier, combing helps to run the natural oils of sebum from roots to the tip of the hair evenly. And before combing, you can apply a little pump of hair oil or hair serum. It will be easier to comb hair, and it easily detangles, remove the knots.
That was wonderful. So basically, Dr. Mansa has told, detangle your hair before you start combing. Second, give 100 strokes in your hair so that is going to relax your scalp, and definitely it is going to help the sebum to move to your hair shaft. And use a wide combed tooth, or you can use a hairbrush with rounded ball-like tips, which gives a good massage-like action. So definitely the simple tips which you could follow, and don't be harsh with your hair. They are really soft and good. My next question to you, Dr. Mansa. What are the items you need to eat to have healthy, strong, glowing, silky hair?
Nutrition plays an important role in health of hair. We see iron. Iron is the most common deficiency seen in most of the Indian women. And iron plays an important role in it forms hemoglobin, where hemoglobin carries the oxygen to the hair follicle. And if we have less hemoglobin, this oxygen supply is decreased and hair follicles will tend to break and fall. So iron-rich food we see in if vegetarians, they can take green leaf vegetables, lentils, legumes, jaggery, pumpkin seeds. If non-vegetarians, meat and fish, it is available. And if we take along with vitamin C, if we take, it will increase the iron absorption. And next, protein. Hair is made up of protein, that is keratin. So we have to we can include protein diet into our protein into our diet. Eating adequate protein is important for the hair growth. As an average man, 56 gram per day, and average woman 46 gram per day, it is required. The protein-rich diet we have that is all almonds, pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, sprouts, and the dairy products, milk, soya, non-vegetarians, chicken, egg, meat. And another important is biotin. Biotin, that is vitamin B7. It is a coenzyme for a carboxylase enzymes, which is involved in metabolic process in our body. It stimulates keratin production in our hair, and also it increases the rate of hair growth, hair follicle growth. Adequate it should intake should be 30 microgram per day. And food rich in biotin are green leafy vegetables. If you are vegetarian, green leafy vegetables, mushrooms, almonds, cheese, potato. If you are non-vegetarian, egg, boiled egg is a great for biotin. And omega-3 fatty acids. These are anti-inflammatory and antioxidant, which are good for your skin also. It triggers hair follicle growth by improving blood circulation to the hair. Food that rich in omega fatty 3 acids are walnuts, flax seeds, cod liver oil, and fish. And then zinc. Zinc is an essential micronutrient, and it is a cofactor for many enzymes. It helps in DNA synthesis of hair follicle. And zinc rich in rich food are chia seeds, pumpkin seeds, and flax seeds. And other vitamins like vitamin A, C, and D. Vitamin A, it helps in our cell and tissue growth. It helps in production of sebum that moisturizes the scalp and hair. Vitamin A food are all the orange food, that is carrots, orange, mango, papaya. And vitamin C. Vitamin C, it is a rich antioxidant. It when a person undergoes any kind of stress, like physical or traumatic, psychological, anything, it causes release of O2 radicals, oxygen radicals. This can be blocked by vitamin C, and it also helps in formation of collagen, which increases strength of your hair and skin. The vitamin C rich food are lemon, orange, kiwi, amla. And vitamin D. Vitamin D receptors are present all over the hair follicles, which when it is stimulated, it initiates the anagen hair growth. So the requirement is 600 international units, and the main source of vitamin D is sunlight. And other food sources are fish, egg, milk, cheese, yogurt, and almonds. And lastly, sulfur. Sulfur, hair is made up of disulfide bonds, cuticle. So which gives the integrity and tensile strength and maintains the shape of the hair. So sulfur can be, and sulfur can also increase the anagen phase. That is the growth phase of your hair. Sulfur-rich food are seafood, egg, meat, onions. We daily use onions, garlic, cauliflower, cabbage, and other dairy products. That's all, ma'am.
So to summarize what Dr. Manasa has told, a plethora of ingredients in our kitchen. First is eat good amount of green leafy vegetables. Second, eat nuts. How do you eat nuts? You soak them overnight and then eat in the morning. So you can eat almonds primarily, which is very important. Next is seeds. So flax seeds, chia seeds, that is the next ingredient. The fourth is milk and milk-based products. So basically it has got calcium, it has got protein into it. So you can take protein-based food, that is all kinds of dals as well. And The most important is hydrate yourself, and don't forget vitamin C is the favorite molecule of every dermatologist, so that you can get in simple lemon juice. So if you add all these ingredients, I will tell you a simple juice if you want for your hair. What else? You can take palak, you can take pudina, you can take lemon, you can take beetroot, you can take amla, and then you can make a mixture of it and make an antioxidant drink. And you can add carrots also. So if you prepare 1 glass of this antioxidant drink, take my words, your skin will look nice, your hairs will look very good. And yes, in regards to protein, pure vegetarian people eat less amount of protein. Their intake of carbohydrate is much more compared to the non-vegetarian one. So for vegetarian people, be very cautious to have some kind of protein food. How do you do? You take dals, you take sprouts, you can make all kinds of dal or you can make salads and you can put dals in it. And that's how you can eat tofu, you can eat paneer, this is how you can improve your protein. And apart from that, you've got nuts, isn't it? The most prominent is in Jolapur is shenga chutney. You have these peanuts. You can have peanuts, you can have almonds. So these are the proteins which are available to everybody. So improve on your protein in your diet, and that's how your hair and your skin really look fabulous, because they both are made up of protein units. So that was really very informative, Dr. Manasa. Definitely we are going to still come up with multiple, because hair itself is a very huge topic. So today we have just give you a bird's eye view, but there are many more things. Like you may have a series of hair care only coming from Dr. Manasa. And definitely we are also going to come live with Dr. Manasa in a couple of months. And then you can keep your questions ready, my dear ladies, and ask all the secrets which Manasa uses for her strong and shining hair. So that was really wonderful, Dr. Manasa. As I end this session, I really want to thank you from the depth of my heart for giving your valuable time and the wonderful information about hair. And a passing remark I would like you to make. I'm on this Mission Beauty. So would you like to talk something about Mission Beauty or something about Dr. Smita
Thakur? Thank you. Really, thank you, ma'am, for this opportunity. Actually, it's a great inspiration, ma'am, to look at seeing you doing so many things wonderfully. In your clinic, in a government hospital, and you have started an online session, Mission Beauty, and you're going on live. This is very informative and very knowledgeable for common people, and also for us. We're also learning so many things from you. As I know, once we have to do all these things, and we should get into all this, but before us, I guess you have made it, ma'am.
Wonderful, Dr. Manasa. That was really inspiring to me. Such words definitely helped me to move more ahead and work more with enthusiasm, because this is the next series which is going to come up with all of you young dermatologists. And without your support, I don't think Mission Beauty can have its pillars very strong. So thank you once again. So we sign out, and all the ladies out there who are watching this video on Facebook or YouTube, definitely we have given contact number of Dr. Manasa. So if you want any doubts to be cleared from Dr. Manasa, you can just call her and she'll be more than happy to help you in regards to the hair care series. And apart from that, if you love this content, if you love the real knowledge, scientific knowledge, definitely do like this particular video. So don't forget to subscribe our channel, and all the women out there, it is my real request to all the middle-aged women, please join our Mission Beauty so that we could achieve the target of making 1 lakh women beautiful in next 1 year. Thank you so much. This is Dr.
Thank you so much,
on Mission Beauty. Thank you, Dr. Manasa. Thank you.